is such a crazy topic. Thank you guys for joining me. That's what we're going to dive into today. This is Win the Day. I'm Tanika D'Souza, the 100K challenge chick, and my goal is to challenge you to your first 100K in business revenue. So I aspire to have several women learn, grow, and reach that 100K business revenue. So that's the objective here. Let's dive into this self-sabotage topic. I guess let me give you background. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I was talking to a few people through Messenger and through other things, and they were just like, this is terrible. I'm tired of this. I'm just ready to quit. And they are getting really frustrated. And so the thing that I do is try to ask the right question to help them open their minds, see where they are, and have a realistic response versus the very dramatic, like something didn't happen, so now it's all time to quit. And honestly, when you're very new in business, this is a common response. I remember, and actually, not even if you're new, just as a business owner, this is common to just be like, I'm done. This is stressful. This is a lot, because you're carrying so much as a business owner, but it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be so stressful. It's just that you have to learn how to deal with new levels of obstacles because you're always going to have them, right? So it's not about quitting. It's about learning how to move past. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because the roots of almost everyone that I spoke with was some type of self-sabotage, and they had not at all considered themselves, even though clearly it's their business, their objective, their goals. They had not considered themselves, and I'll tell you why. Most often with self-sabotage, you never think it's you. And that's the reason why it's so easy to mistake and to stay in these places, because you blame everything on someone else. So here are some common ways that we self-sabotage and we're not even aware of it. Procrastination. When you know you have to get some things done, you don't get it done, that's on you. But in your head, you have 10 reasons, especially if you're a mom and a wife, you have 10 other things that are going on simultaneously that you then prioritize over getting your stuff done. That's not your kid's fault. That's not the dinner needs to be made fault. It's you not organizing yourself and procrastinating, and then having all these things piling up on you, and then clearly you can't get it all done. So procrastination is an easy way that we self-sabotage, and it's us allowing lots of other things to take precedence, or our laziness, or our thought that I can do this later. It's not going to take that long, so I can put it off a little more. And then when it comes down to it, you have procrastinated so much that for a lot of us, it just never gets done. Like, never. So that's the first thing. Second, how can you tell if you are self-sabotaging? And one of the other ways is you're blaming. So you procrastinated, but then you blame, oh, but I didn't do it because I had to take the kids to the basketball game, I had to pick them up from the bus. This one had a doctor's appointment. Like, these are my real life things right now. My son is still doing, what's that? Physical therapy, post-op appointments, all this stuff. So clearly he had surgery. His stuff is important, but then I put it on my calendar and I plan around it. So blaming him or saying this is what he needed, so therefore I couldn't get anything done, is just self-sabotage. It's me finding fault in someone else. I can say, I always could say, oh, well, my husband gave me this to do, or he couldn't do this other thing. So then now it fell on me. So clearly my business had to take a backseat. It was like this whole round robin of why I didn't have to take responsibility for what was going on in my own business. So that is self-sabotage. 3, perfectionism. Oh my God, so many of y'all do this. I'm just getting over this, I would say, because I understood that it was only limiting me and it wasn't helping me at all. But I was always trying to like, oh no, this has to be perfect. Well, that's not ready, and I'm not finished with that. And let me do work on this a little more. Like everything needed more. Everything needed another tweak. And that was just me getting in my own way of not finishing things. Like clearly I can't have a result if I don't finish. And I guess in retrospect, I was nervous about the result. So I felt if I put 30 more hours in at the beginning in the creation and the planning, then somehow that equal more success on the end. But there's no way to predict that. And we're going to talk about how you're going to deal with the self-sabotage. And I have a super, super, super simple example that hopefully will resonate with you and help you get past the self-sabotage. 4, another way that you are self-sabotaging is with your overthinking. So we talked about procrastination, we talked about blaming, perfectionism, but the overthinking is a little bit of the underlying issue with all of those, right? So it's like, well, should I do this? Or what about that? And okay, well, if I'm starting a group, then it's the group who want to do that. Like instead of just making some decisions, we want to overthink everything. And number 5 is indecision, right? Because we overthink it, we don't make a choice, and we're sabotaging ourselves. You cannot move forward in your business if you're not willing to act. Like nothing else is bringing you income. Like you're thinking your perfect Canva templates, your whatever else you're doing, if you're not actually moving on the things you said you were going to do, if you're not making offers to people, if you're not actually coaching them, offering your services, whatever it is you do, then there's no way you're going to see success. So that is kind of the funny part of self-sabotage. There's always a reason why we believe doing this is okay. And it's not, right? Because we're just getting in our own way. So how can you think about this and resolve and do something different, right? Because procrastination, overthinking, indecision is very real for most of us. We deal with this all the time. So here is my example that I hope really resonates with you, that you can keep with you when you find yourself in any of those areas of self-sabotage. So here's what I want you to remember. Remember when we were in school and we learned how to do science experiments, right? It started with a hypothesis, and that hypothesis is your educated guess. That's how I want you to think about your business. Nobody can tell you that the theory and the idea that you came up with for your business will or won't work. The only thing that's going to tell you that it will or won't work is having a result, like doing it, right? So we're going to think of our business as the hypothesis. It's the science experiment. You make an educated guess. Here is what I'm going to do. And keeping in theory with that analogy, the next thing you have to do is your research, work, and put in some effort. That's the part that the self-sabotager will never do. They're going to overthink. They're going to not make a choice. They're going to blame somebody else. They're searching for perfectionism, right? And they're procrastinating in doing the work. So therefore, they can't ever put good energy behind this theory or behind this business that they have. And they have good reason in their brain. But the only way that you're going to see if this is working is to do something, right? So we're going to make our educated guess about, yes, coaching women to 100K is a great idea. Here's the stats, here's the research, here's why this is needed, and here is the way that I'm going to approach doing it. That's my business. 2, I did the research, I'm going to do the work, I'm going to put the effort in. 3, after is the key word. After you do the work, after you put the effort in, after you have strive for the result, Then you can analyze where you are only after you've done the work, right? In the science experiment, you don't just get to sit in the hypothesis and say, oh, here's my theory. I believe this to be true. And then you just sit back and say, but here's a different way to think of it. So that first theory didn't work. No, you have to test the theory. You have to do the work, have data to support or disprove what you originally thought. So you have to get the data and then you sit back and you analyze your results. And then finally, after you analyze the results, is where you change, is where you draw a new conclusion, is where you decide. Let's say if I said my business idea to coach women to their first 100,000 in business revenue was, let's say, too broad. So then I decide, okay, well, that message was too broad. I was getting people from all these different areas. I couldn't coach this type of woman, and this woman didn't mesh well with me, but these women did. Now I have data, and I can say, okay, now I'm only working with women who want to start coaching businesses. That's it. But I have data to support my change. I didn't just make the change in the beginning. I tried to prove my theory. I tried to prove that my business plan could work. And then after having results, after analyzing the results, I can change. So that's what I want you guys to think about. The next time you're procrastinating, the next time you find yourself really where you're not getting results, take a step back and say, this is like a science experiment. I have to do the work. I have to put in the effort. I've done the research, and now it's time for me to work so that I have results that I can then analyze and make a new decision. That's what business and entrepreneurship is about. It's not about you making every choice and it's going to be a perfect choice at the beginning. If you think that is true, you are absolutely still stuck in some form of self-sabotage or just sabotage in general. You're never going to see the success you want to see if all you do is analyze and overthink and blame and procrastinate and not make decisions because you're scared to make the wrong decision. And here's what I'm going to say. In science, in so many other areas of our life, we understand that even if it were a wrong decision made, going through the process gives us the data and information necessary to make an appropriate change. Because even in my example, I said I took all this data, I learned all these things, and now I was able to narrow it down because I get the best results here. You don't know that from sitting on the couch. You don't know that from writing in your notebooks. You only know that when you're working, when you're doing the thing you said you wanted to do, and you're not getting in your own way. So we're going to think of our businesses as experienced, scientific, educated, experiments. And we're going to do the work to prove that what we believe is true. And then we will analyze what we can change and what we can do differently to get better results in the future. So thinking about self-sabotage, I want us to recognize that we all do it, and we just have to call ourselves on it. In the 100K society, we are at a point where you could just be flat honest. Like, I didn't feel like doing it. I had a rough week. This was emotionally draining. And we help that person understand where they were, how they could have prepared for that situation a little better. So the next time it's like, okay, well, I had all the stuff to do, but I still met my goals for the week. I still did what I needed to do, and I still had the success this week. But it takes practice, okay? And the first step is understanding there's no way for you to analyze your results from the beginning. You have to do the work and analyze at the end. Hope that helps. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments. Are you a self-sabotager? And maybe you might not want to admit that. So just tell me about the other people who self-sabotage and all the crazy stuff they do. Because, you got your life together and you are looking for the results in your business, not the excuses to basically move slow like a turtle. All right, guys, y'all have a great day. Thanks for joining me for Win the Day. Follow my pages, like my page, follow the whatever it's called, and join my group. It's called 100K Lifestyle, and this is the type of content that we talk about there. You guys have a great day. Bye.